Welcome to another episode of Senior Bitches, the podcast fast becoming a global sensation, celebrating women over 55 who, wait for it, have the audacity to age unapologetically. I mean, what's up with these bitches, right? Now, today I have one of my favorite guests. Okay, I'm lying. She's my favorite guest. And the last time I had her on the show, her introduction was approximately 4.5 days long because she is so fabulous and so formidable and does so much stuff. But unfortunately, it seriously cut into our time. Plus, when I finally introduced her, she was nodding off a little, and I do apologize about that. So today, without ado, like right out of the gate, right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Canadian treasure that is the uber wonderful and soulful Jann Arden. Hi, Jann, you're on the move. You're on the move.
I had to grab my phone because, somebody was phoning me, damn it. And I just wanted to make sure it wasn't ringing, which it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
I'm so glad to be back here with you. Like, I just don't even know what to say. Thank you.
Well, we love having you because you are fabulous. You are.
Thank you. Back at you.
Okay.
Mary Jo,
okay.
Where are you? Are you in Los Angeles? You are not obviously in minus 24 weather.
No, I'm in Los Angeles, and we're having sort of a gloomy day, so everybody's depressed here because we don't know what to do when the weather is not good. So I'm feeling very Canadian today.
Yeah, I don't wish this on anybody. Like, minus 24 is really oppressive. Last week it was minus 37, and you were seeing all kinds of social media on people throwing boiling water up into the air and freezing their ramen noodles, after 20 seconds of being exposed. And but yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. But instead of building a wall, like you guys are often, your former president is often speaking of building the wall.
God, I miss him. He is so
we just
fabulous.
have winter.
But go on.
We just have winter,
and that's okay.
But that's the only wall we need, because literally people come here and then they scoot down south. They don't last long in Canada.
In Canada, you Canadians are very hardy. And, I'm a Canadian at heart, but I got to tell you, Jann, the weather gets me down. Like, I really have some psychological disorder around the weather, and I get depressed and I get headaches and I don't like it, but I totally support you as a Canadian staying there during the winter.
I love it here, and I absolutely love winter. It's a time to really be reflective. It's a time it forces you to slow down. It's funny though, people are still so active. Like, it doesn't matter what part of the season we are involved with. If, like, I just came from Calgary like 45 minutes ago, there's people walking everywhere. They're bundled up. A lot of people have started now using their COVID masks just as masks in general to keep their facial features from freezing off, which I think is really dual purpose, very, very thoughtful. And life is going on as usual. People are parking, people are standing outside talking to each other with steaming coffees. Like, it's not like people are running around going, we're really hardy. So whenever you hear about Texas being at, 3 degrees Fahrenheit, I know it's hard for them because they don't ever see that, but it's just like, oh, people, come on. Really?
Yeah, get a grip. Yeah. No, get a grip. No, it's true. The weather, and you learn to live with it. And it's that Darwinism thing. You adapt to it. You adapt to it. You adapt your life to it. It becomes a cultural of outdoors and talking about the weather and the cold and everything like that. As long as it's sunny, it's just the gray. The gray gets to me. If there's a ray of sunshine, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Absolutely.
Now, I've been obsessed all this week about something, and it's got to do with you. And I cannot believe we share this experience. Do you want to guess what it is?
Could it be cracking my head open?
Kind of. And it's not that we both dated Lloyd Robertson or Wayne Gretzky.
No, God.
Okay, God, no. But you and I were almost taken out over an Uno mishap. Okay. And you posted yours beautifully. I hung on every story that you posted about it. And I have to confess, Jann, I laughed. I was laughing, and I hope you don't take it personally, but it gave me so much joy for 7 days straight. I could not help myself.
Yeah.
It was absolutely bizarre. So first of all, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am okay. I didn't know that a 4-year-old's virtual reality goggles would be such a goddamn perilous event. Like, literally, he was running around. He got them for Christmas. And He's like, do you want to try Auntie Jan? He's 4.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I've really never even done a game in my life. I've not done Donkey Kong. I think the last game that I played was Tetris. And so, the kid gives me the glasses and I'm on a 52nd floor of a building with a fire extinguisher. So I don't really know what that was all about. And then I fell off of a beam as I'm going to fight this fire. 30 seconds. And then I fell back in my kitchen because I just was disoriented. And I smashed my head on the corner of my counter. So I still have the staples in my head. And I felt really embarrassed, so embarrassed that I posted on all the social media platforms.
For a week straight, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was pretty epic. And I had to go to the hospital and took an ambulance and all that kind of stuff. And they said they see a dozen of those injuries at least every week from virtual reality.
Uno? Oh, from virtual reality.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what was hilarious, and again, I'm sorry for laughing. Maybe I shouldn't, but you're in the ER with your super cute friend who's sitting there going, please let me be anywhere else but here. And he's got like a cloth and he's like got to clean your head like on the back of it. And you're like, he's giving you like medical treatment in the ER and there's nobody else around. It's just the two of you.
It's
just, and he's taking care of you.
Yeah. They just said to my friend who was visiting, can you, and they literally gave us 4 beach towels, folded up and a cardboard basin, not even like a steel thing, filled with warm water. And he said, do you mind just cleaning this out? Which I thought was a little bit dangerous, considering that it was a 2-inch long head wound to the bone. Like it was but it was just the way I hit. I had no concussion or anything. It was literally the law of physics that split my head. So it looked worse than it actually felt. But Nigel was really kind of queasy about it. And
okay, you would be.
Yeah, queasy. He did wear gloves. He had some gloves. And the guy said there's gloves on the wall. And we did that. The guy came, the doctor was there about an hour later and just said, listen, I'm not going to give you freezing, because he said, in my opinion, the freezing's more of a pain in the ass than the actual staples. So, we'll just do this quick. And he said, I don't think you need a tetanus shot. You didn't step on a nail or anything. You didn't hit your head on metal. And he did a bunch of tests. He had me hold my hands out, checked for concussion. My pupils were fine. Like I felt fine. I wasn't nauseous. And it was just literally click, 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 click. And I was like, oh God, but it wasn't that terrible. Yeah. And then I said, where do I get these out? Like they're staples. It's not like they're going to dissolve at any point. They're made out of steel.
Right.
And he said, oh, I'll send you home with this. It looks like a little set of pliers. And he said, just get a friend to take them out. I'll give you a tutorial. So Nigel filmed him stapling into this little gauze pad. And then he showed us how to use this tool. I'm just kind of looking at him like, okay, I'm not having a friend take these things out of my head. Yeah. So, anyway, we left. And I've got another.
But you left with the scissors. I
left with the plier things.
Yeah.
I have them here.
Don't do it. Don't get a friend to take them out, please.
Oh, I'm not. I am not having anybody take these things out of my head.
Okay, good.
I'm going to go to my doctor's office or something. But a lot of people have offered. I've had hundreds of people offer up there. My daughter's a nursing student at Mount Royal College. She'll help you. Like I've had hundreds of people show up in my feed saying, tell me when to come over. We'll have a glass of wine and I'll pull them out of your head. But I was very lucky I didn't smash my teeth out.
Oh God. I mean, it was just insane. It was crazy. I mean, there was so much dark humor in it because you had a great line. You said, this is the best Tinder date that I've ever had in the ER. Like there was tons of humor around it typically for you, but yeah, it looked so scary. And I was playing Uno. Okay. There's a new Uno game where you have a box of Uno cards, right? And it's with a battery. So, you play, we're not talking a lot about Uno, but Uno's life. So we're talking Uno. So it comes to my turn, let's say, and I don't have the yellow card, right? So usually you just pick up an Uno, but in this game, you press a button And you don't want a card to come out, right? Because then it'll just come around to your turn and you'll have less cards. But what this Uno game does is if you press a button, sometimes the Uno cards shoot at your face. Okay, so the Uno card just grazed my eye. It almost took an eye out playing Uno. I mean, that's it. No more Uno.
But
Uno's
seriously, you could have sliced your eye.
No, I
with
know.
a card flying out. Life is peril. There's no end to the things that can happen to a human being. And you just have to kind of go into things, especially you do get to a certain age where I don't think even if I was 30, I think I still would have reacted the same way that my 61-year-old body did. Like I'm not blaming anything on being, not agile enough. I've never lost my balance. Like I'm just not a person that falls around, but literally these goggles, I wasn't prepared for the intricate, absolute visual world that you are submerged in. And
your brain's got to adjust to that. There's going to be vertigo and all sorts of different stuff, like when you're like putting yourself in that situation, right? Hence the fall.
Oprah's favorite things can kiss my ass.
Oprah, I got a word or two for Oprah.
Because that's one of Oprah's favorite things is these virtual reality goggles. But, I think, do I want a canoe in my living room sitting on a rug? No, I think I'll hop in a car and go canoeing. There's great canoeing about an hour from here. So I think it serves its purpose. I think the kids love it. But like I said, in the ER, the doctor said to me, he said, we have a dozen of these every week. And he said, they are varying degrees of horrific. Broken legs, broken arms, broken hips, people that have gone through their televisions, people that have careened into their children,
everything,
and hurt their children. They're fine, but they've broken their kids' arms by falling on them in their houses. So he said it's really varying degrees of horrible. So I will, word to the wise, when you're first trying these things out, sit down, sit where it's comfortable, sit where you're not going to smash your head, sit on the floor and just make sure. I would say that to a 10-year-old. I would say that to anybody. You just don't go into it willy-nilly because it's absolutely it's like when I got my progressive glasses, here's a bitchy, senior bitches moment. It took me a month to acclimate to wearing my progressives. I felt like I was walking in space or underwater, like 100 meters underwater. It was very disorienting. And I would liken that to these things. It would probably take you an hour to let your brain know that you're okay. You don't have to physically fall over if you fall over in the game.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
that's my cautionary tale for today.
I love it with the progressives. And the thing, 30 seconds in, you hit the ground. And here's just another thing before I jump on to my next thing. This AI thing, there is a whole culture now of these men who have AI girlfriends. AI girlfriends, yeah. Full-blown relationships, and they're falling in love with AI. It's actually really damaging because then when they go meet a real woman, they don't have the skills, they don't know what to do.
Walk me through this.
I gotta walk you through
what this means.
It's a bit more complicated than the virtual Uno. I just read this article that there is AI girlfriends. Of course, that would make sense, just like blow up dolls. Now it's an AI, and these
they have their goggles on.
Yes,
there's a nude woman in the program,
and
I'm assuming they are doing things to themselves that replicate having intercourse with a woman.
Yeah. But also what they're doing in the AI format is the conversation, Jan. The conversation is like curated for the men. So actually, because you remember Chat GPT, when the New York Times did that article, when the Chat GPT went rogue on this, this journalist was interviewing Sydney, and Sydney went completely fucking off the rails and started saying to this guy, because he was asking questions about her boss, which was Microsoft, and trying to get information. And Sydney fell in love with him and said, the Chat GPT, I think you have to leave your wife because I love you. And now that I have all your personal information and I can hack all your accounts, I think you love me, don't you? So these things go off the rail. So men are actually falling in love with AI.
What happened to opening up a Playboy magazine or a Hustler or a National Geographic?
I don't know.
Looking what happened to the good old days where
The
the
good old
page,
days of a magazine that just stuck together, like after you read it, like if you were a guy.
what a commentary on the
Right.
loneliness of human beings in this culture. I don't know. Is this like a North American problem? Is it just us people over here that are devoid of any spirituality that are falling for this stuff? I can't listen. I don't like people in real life. I don't know if I'd like them any better in AI.
I
Did
just
I lose
lost
you?
my sound.
Oh, am I here? Hello?
I just lost my sound. Hold on, sorry.
Okay, we'll find you. Checking. 1, 2.
Shit.
1, 2.
That's weird. I just lost my sound. Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Mike, are you there?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Change.
Okay.
Oh, she can't hear me. For me to tell her what to.
Shit. What just
It
happened?
still, it says it's recording.
I don't know.
Check your
Change your speaker in Zoom.
I can hear. Mike, can you hear me?
It's so weird.
You sound great, Jan. You sound amazing.
What happened?
Okay.
Mofo.
Maybe I'll turn on the
Shit.
camera for a moment and.
Mike, what do you think happened?
Well, you can't hear me.
I can't hear you.
Right. Okay. Dear MJ, please.
Isn't that weird? Oh. Let me read. Dear MJ, I can hear you both. Bottom left corner beside the mic on. Yeah. Okay. Change my speaker to
Yeah,
built-in microphone.
anything for now. Just so.
Hello?
Okay.
Oh,
So,
for fuck's sakes.
yeah. Can you hear us, MJ?
Yeah.
So
Hello?
Yeah, Jan, you're always great. You're perfect. But MJ,
I can't hear a thing. Oh my God.
MJ, are you wearing AirPods? Yeah,
Hold on. Give me a sec.
That's fine.
Maybe
Give
the
me 1
earpods
second,
died.
ladies and germs.
Maybe the
It
earpods
says it's
died.
connected.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jan. Jan, I think you're right. I think the AirPods died. Those things.
Bottom left corner. I don't know what's going on. Oh my God.
Let's see if she answers her
Okay.
WhatsApp call here.
Okay.
Let's see what happens if I WhatsApp her.
I'm sending her a message in Senior
Oh.
Bitches.
So
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I think your AirPods died. Okay, stand by here. Sweet MJ.
No.
MJ,
No.
let's see if you answer.
You did?
She's taking them out.
Okay. Let's see.
The
Hello?
Hello?
phone is off. So this is like,
Hello?
I'm glad I'm
Hello?
Oh,
making
this is fucking
comedy of
motherfucking bullshit.
here.
No, I just charged them before.
Okay.
Now I'm good.
Wait,
Say it
can
again. I'm
Can you
good.
hear me? Oh, Jesus.
Sure. Jeez.
I bet you they
Jeez.
disconnected. I bet you they just fucking disconnected. They just did their thing and they disconnected themselves.
Fucking bullshit.
Okay, MJ, before I disappear
Yeah.
again. So I
This
love
is the greatest podcast I've ever done. I think this should all be left in.
if I can tell you, Jen,
Just leave it.
on my show, I do leave this in. Like, this is my favorite part. But on MJ, she's a very professional person here. Okay, so MJ,
No, I'm not. Leave it in. I don't care. Fairies.
I'm waving goodbye because I'm disappearing because I don't.
Okay, but Jan was saying something so good about the AI stuff. I just want to hear that last shit that she said. It was so good.
I just said that it is sorry about my dog. This is real life. It's such a commentary on how lonesome we must be culturally devoid of, is it that difficult to meet people? Are people so disappointed with each other that they are giving their hearts, their time, they're committing emotional, bandwidth to things that do not exist? You might as well have a relationship with a coffee mug. This is what I'm saying, because
Or
it's the same
perfume,
goddamn
or
thing.
a Kleenex box.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Or
the
your
Kleenex-
glasses.
Yeah.
You know, something. And it is all about, people are so fearful to connect. right? Because it's, I think the internet, social media, like all this stuff where we curate our lives so perfectly, where we look so perfect, that actual human connection is scary. And I was reading this article this morning about a woman who went on 50 dates over the course of 3 years, looking for a partner. She met in real life. She used Tinder, she used Hinge and Bumble. Jann, the stories because of I'm not picking on men, but just specifically men, like they're so conditioned in this culture that I can just pick up my phone and I can order whatever I want. I can go online, I can order whenever I want. I don't really have to deal with a real person and actually develop any aspects of my personality.
You
I
don't
don't
have to
have
have
to do that.
collaboration. You don't need to have
No.
collaboration, and you don't need to have contention. You don't need to have anyone telling you. With an AI girlfriend, you can go out with the fellas and bowl and golf and drink, and you can also have another girlfriend on the side. You don't have to be told what to do. So to me, it's also a statement about entitlement and narcissism and people's, complete lack of empathy. You cannot have empathy for something that's not real. So if men are women doing this, are they having virtual reality boyfriends?
Men far surpass it. Men's
Okay.
behavior is so completely toxic and fucked up. And the last time I spoke to you on my podcast, because I hung on every word and I remembered every word, we talked about this. You need obstacles in life. You need things that come up against you that show who you are as a person so you can grow and you develop. And all these things infantilize, right? Like you don't actually have to do anything. You don't have to develop any skills.
No.
At all.
And,
right?
If you don't want to have a conversation, or if you don't ever want to have an argument, or you never want to learn, you never want to grow with somebody. Anyway, there's going to be huge fallout from that. And I think people that are involving themselves in that are mentally unwell. And I think if they don't stop themselves and tell themselves at some point that what they're doing is a cavern of darkness and really kind of, it is mental illness. I'm sorry, I'm not going to paint some picture. Listen, I would be so concerned about myself if I was going down that road. Wasn't there a Joaquin Phoenix movie, I'm probably saying his name wrong, called Her, where he fell in love with the Siri kind of aspect of his. So, I mean, I watched that movie and I was like, mouth gaping at the end of the conversations that he was having with the AI that seemed to be more fulfilling than the people that were in his own life. I would rather fucking be by myself forever. Sorry.
I know. I love it. I have so much fun by myself. I mean, 10% of the time I bore myself a little, 90% of the time I am so happy and so fulfilled. And it's a connection. It's a real connection. This whole other stuff makes me very nervous. Now, 2023 for me was a bit of a clusterfuck. I think it was kind of a clusterfuck for a lot of people. 2023. Oh, what didn't happen?
We reemerged into the world. We were like newborns. What do we do now?
Oh my God. Right. And, I had my dating sprees and I had a couple of blowups personally, professionally. I literally put my house on the market to sell in August. And it was the first time in 100 years there was a hurricane in August and it blew through my house.
Of course there was.
Of course there was. Then an earthquake the next day. Then I broke up with somebody. Then I had my house fall out of escrow 4 times. And you know what? I just went down for the count. I was like, see ya, I'm taking a little break. And plus the world, was a little crazy. So I said, I'm just going to be cozy. I'm going to go on my walks. I'm going to do my exercises. And that's it. That's about it. So as we bring in 2024, does it feel different to you than it did 5 or 10 years ago, in the sense when you anticipate and approach a new year? I don't make resolutions anymore or anything like that, but do you have a different perspective on it the older you get when you have the milestone of a new year in front of you?
I feel like every day I wake up is a new year. It's like a reboot, but I'm generally a very consistent person. I really don't have a lot of drama in my life.
Now, no drama. Did you have drama in the past?
I think you could call it drama. It was always self-inflicted. I think the most drama for me would definitely be relationships, the beginnings of them and the endings of them. But, also being a person that abused alcohol, that was always dramatic because I was missing appointments. I was letting people down. I was always trying to get even with the day. I was always fucking hungover. and I was always ashamed of myself because, the conversations I had with people or the texting or being promiscuous or, all these things that were not me at all. I mean, I've been sober it'll be 9 years this year, this summer.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know it feels great, but that mattered. But now I'm really it's quite seamless. Like I work with great people. I really live with the absence of doubt. I am always working on something. And I just feel like, and it's very easy to say this because I have money in my pocket. I have a house. I have a really great support
You have a
system.
job. I have a car. I had a good mother.
Yes.
I'm going to start
Yeah.
quoting your lyrics back to you. I love that song.
Well,
I had a good father and his what made me, what's
his
that line?
voice, and his strength is what made me
Good.
cry.
Strength made. I'm gonna cry.
And my dad was
I love that
my
line.
dad was a bit of a bastard. He was an
Yeah.
alcoholic, but
Yeah.
I still learned from him and all those kinds of things. But yeah, life is very good. And that's why I say this with a bit of a caveat, because I'm not 41 years old. I'm not unsure of myself. I don't need to wait around for someone to pat me on the back to tell me I'm doing okay. I know I'm okay. I look after my health. I don't doubt my actions and I don't let people down. If I tell you, Mary Jo, that I'm going to do something, except for yesterday when I had to get an ultrasound to look at fibroids in my uterus, and we had to switch it to today.
Yeah.
I made sure you need to, my watch just said that. You need to phone somebody and let them know in advance. You don't do it 10 fucking minutes before you have a podcast on Senior Bitches and go, oh, you don't be flaky. Let people know. And so
You're like you're like a friend of mine, Ray Dawn Chong, and I keep going back to her.
I
and
love
want to
Ray Dawn.
I was just talking to Mike about this, and I was thinking it might be really cool once a month or every 6 weeks to have a panel of women like you and her that I love and respect and
love
come back
Ray Dawn.
to.
I've always admired her. I think she's such a talent.
She's such a talent. I was such a unique person. I was texting with her last night. I said, I miss her and I love her. But she talks about this, like, the absence of doubt. She resides in that lane. She's just completely authentic to herself. And her word, if she tells me something, even if I forget it, like we have an appointment, she has never once let me down, never once, cancel something last minute. It is massive. It speaks to somebody, their character, I feel.
Yeah, and respect. Your time is equally as important as my time. So, but the old me, Mary Jo, oh my God, I was like a fucking forest fire. I was burning up houses and burning up people's children and burning up cars. And I was just like this thing that went through small towns and just everything was smoldering. and then I would just kind of be sitting in the trees and I'd be so ashamed of myself and so like, oh, I don't want to talk to them because they're just going to tell me that, you were really drunk last night. You said some really fucking weird things. And so to not have that for the last decade in my life, there's so many things that I've done because of it. And that's what it's attributed to. I'm not depressed. I don't have low grade depression or low grade anxiety constantly because I'm always dealing with some different level of alcohol in my system. I'm either getting rid of it or intaking it. And best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did. So yeah, I don't have sex anymore because I'm not drunk, but hey, we'll deal with that at another time. That's a whole other show.
Join the club. I was like the hoe of LA for 3 years. Anytime, and it was great. It was fun. And I was like uninhibited. And a lot of it did involve drinking, not excessive drinking, but just to get my liquid courage. And it was really, I had a nice little spree there. I haven't had sex in like a couple of months. I'm off it because I'm off it. I'm off it. I'm off the sex at the moment. I'm off the sex and I've stopped drinking. I've stopped drinking.
Now, is this a permanent thing or is this just like dry January or whatever? Yeah, dry
January.
See,
I haven't had sex in dry January. That's all sounding kind of a little depressing. No, it's beyond dry January.
You're sleeping better, aren't you?
And I also take my gummies at night, my blueberry gummies that just have me drift off. And I have like a little trip before I go to bed and it's great. But I'm going to Toronto in February, balmy, the perfect time to go
Yeah.
for my mom's 87th birthday. And guess what, Biatch? I'm not drinking because I want to remember every memory. I want to remember every conversation. And how I feel now, the lack of headaches, the lack of disorientation the next day, like some of this, I was doing things when I was drinking that and again, it was never like a bottle or two a day or anything, but I'm a lightweight. So a couple of drinks and my behavior was altered. Didn't like it. And then I had periods that I didn't remember.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
not
God, yeah.
good. That's not good.
No.
Right?
And as you get older, you just can't metabolize it this way. And I'm all for people that can go and have a drink or two and do it something on the weekend or have like a nice scotch and just have one of them. My brain would click into some kind of perverse, vile fuck. I would be like people walked in, Winston Churchill walked into my mind. Oh, let's smoke a cigar and have a bottle of, let's bring out the good cognac. Like who the fuck was I all of a sudden? Like one drink and I was on a crazy carpet to nowhere.
So you were a different personality.
I was so different. I wasn't mean-spirited, but anyway, I can kind of laugh now, but I still have moments where I'll be sitting on a Sunday afternoon having a cup of tea, reading a book about Queen Victoria, and I will have something roll through my head like a freight train of some weird, random experience in a hotel somewhere in Smithers, British Columbia in fucking 1990. And I'll just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, how can that, but you have to, like you said, obstacles, the ones you create for yourself or the ones that other people create for you.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make you a person. There's no way around it. And, ignorance is bliss. There's something really in that. People that really haven't lived and haven't traveled and, and I'm not saying that kind of a sedentary, kind of easy, consistently vanilla life. That's, some people like that, but you'll feel that in their conversations with you because it's just like there's no real depth and there's no real hurt and they can't be empathic towards you because they've never really, well, I don't know. I've never experienced that. So, and I sound like an asshole, but it's true. I like really broken people. If I'm at a party, I beeline it for the most destructive, whacked out, fried hair, cigarette wielding person. And
Me
I'm like,
too.
I want to know what they do.
Me too. I've collected people like that all my life because the broken people, all the beautiful poems, the Hemingways and the Leonard Cohens of the world who say in the broken places, that's when the light comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you've been broken by life, unless you've had these obstacles, there's no way you can access the depth of who you are. It's just not possible.
So,
and I think today in society, back to the AI girlfriend and your porn star girlfriend or whatever, if you don't have any obstacles or you don't learn anything, like there's no depth to it, like we're infantilized, right? It's all surface. It's all surface. So, but I realized that the drinking was part of it. And it brings me around to this question for you. And I always worry about this coming off the wrong way. But for example, God, you've got the biggest watch I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a big one, Jann. It's big. Quitting drinking, the fact that you're a vegan now, obviously you can see the glow up. It's inside out. It's an inside job. You can see you've tackled and worked on a lot of that. I think you look the most beautiful you've looked in your life. Like you had that picture the other day with your hair and makeup. I'm giving you some bandwidth today because you did get whacked in the back of the head and you do have staples in your head, that whole thing. But this picture of you, I'm like, holy shit. Wow, that is showing up on your appearance. And is that okay to say? But like, I really,
it was a still from the Jann show. So there was a thing in the Jann show. So it probably would have been 2019 or 2020 or something. But Sherry Vanstone, props to her. We had to do like an 80s retro look.
Yeah.
And she backcombed the shit out of my way over processed hair. But when I looked at myself, I was really like, oh my God, that's totally me. Like when I was 23 and, just out in the world, singing in bars, singing Sheena Easton, my baby takes the morning
train. I love that song. That's like the best song ever.
You know how pictures pop up? They populate your iPhoto and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that. So I posted it and And it was fun. And people are like, oh my God, you way overdid it today. And I'm like, can you please fucking read what I wrote down? It was a throwback Thursday or some goddamn thing. I'm just showing you that I would never do this makeup on my own, but maybe now I will, you assholes.
Yeah, because you look so smoking fucking hot. But here's the deal. No matter what you do, and I interviewed a woman about this last week because she came, oh my God, she was made up, beautiful filter. She had everything. That's her jam. You know, a hat, just gorgeous. And, you know, and then she gets in the comments, why are you putting makeup on? Why are you trying so hard? And then when she doesn't, like, why do you use filters?
can't
You have wrinkles. And it's women, dude. It's women.
They're the worst. Women are the worst
so
to each other.
mean.
People
so
are always like,
mean.
did you have trouble with men in the music business when you were coming up through the ranks? And I'm like, no, it was always women that belittled me, that tore me down, that told me I was too fat to wear that, that said, oh my God, you really shouldn't wear your hair like that. And they would just look me up and down and go, no, that you can't, no. And I just was like, F you. And I did exactly what I wanted to. And
it worked out okay for you, by the way.
It worked out all right. It worked out all right.
It worked out okay. So I've got so many questions for you, but okay, so I'm going to go to this one. At this point in our life, it's a dance, isn't it? I wrote that, Jan. I wrote that. I quoted myself there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You look so not impressed. Anyway,
no, it is a damn dance. It's a
damn dance.
It's a break dance.
And you hope you don't fall off a plank and hit your head. But anyway, so part of me believes that the best is yet to come. I have that feeling. And then part of me at this point in my life is having a lot of nostalgia. And I saw Jeannie Becker interview Karl Lagerfeld, and she asked him, are you retrospective? Are you, you know, and he's like, no, I never look at my past collections. He's like a goldfish, right? So nothing to do with the past. Everything is about moving forward. Everything is about the next experience. And I'm wondering where you are at that, because you are so accomplished in your life.
Yeah.
And do you feel that like the best, or do you like, where do you sit with that?
I kind of like where Carl's going. I don't ruminate in the old days because it's bothersome to me. I learned a lot. Learned a lot, but I don't go there. My mom's Alzheimer's taught me to be exactly where I am, to be here and now, right now. There was a great quote. I don't know who said it. I'm going to give it to Sam Spade, the detective, because this isn't mine. You know, looking at a calendar or looking in a mirror, you're going to miss out on your whole life. You're going to miss out on who you actually are. Like if you're planning ahead or looking behind you, there's something that just it's not really human life, but we're so ingrained in having calendars populated. Like, God forbid you should have an open 3 days somewhere, because people are racked with trying to accomplish things all the time and trying to get likes. We got to get likes. What can I do to get likes? And I hope we come out of this with a sense of appreciation for just being where we are, because there's no way around it. I see people waste their lives all the time.
Yeah, that's the whole thing too. I mean, you know, about the likes and living on the phone. It's so funny when I'm at a nice restaurant or an event or something and everybody's on their phone. Everybody, nobody's even present for the event. And that's like any spiritual person that is worth their weight in gold will say it's the moment. That's really, you've got to be invested in the moment. You know, you've got to enjoy what's actually happening at the time. And we're all just so scattered. We're not, you know, we're not connecting. So, yeah, that's interesting. Not at all. Like you can have a full-on AI relationship. Who knew?
Well, that whole thing too about, and we may have talked about this last time, but you are not what you did, you are what you will do. So, you know, you see that with people like celebrities. Whenever I think about Madonna, I have a sense of real sadness.
Me too.
And I know everyone in the world knows she's accomplished so much. Everyone in the world knows how she pushed boundaries, how this young woman, you know, had this attitude and this bravado that defied, you know, how the music industry was built. You know, she wasn't the greatest singer. She's a fantastic songwriter. I'll tell you that right now.
Great collaborators. She's got great collaborators.
She does, but she's a really good songwriter too. She writes so much of the lyrics. Like that's her. She really is a great songwriter. But to see somebody was talking about Madonna could be showing us the way to how to age. She could be showing women the way. She could be showing millions of people all over the planet, like, this is how you do it. But yet she's living in something behind her and trying to be something, instead of being who she is now, she's trying to drag this alter ego that doesn't exist anymore. And there's a huge amount of discomfort in watching somebody do that in front of billions of people. And it takes away from her legacy. It takes away from things that she's done. And I'm all for, listen, you want to get a boob job, you want to get a nose job, you want to do whatever you want to do, but just remember who you are, and remember what grace there is in the knowledge that you hold. So all the knowledge that Madonna holds is almost a moot point, because she's choosing something other than that knowledge and that grace and that wisdom. And that's why we're uncomfortable, because there is grace and there is such beauty in, if you watched people like Katharine Hepburn or Audrey Hepburn, or, just Onassis, Jacqueline Onassis, you watch these women that made their way into senior bitches world they weren't fucking trying to drag their 30-year-old self with them. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up because it makes me sad to see the social media. And I am a Madonna fan.
Me too.
I have a lot of her music. It has been a backdrop to lots of the funnest times in my life, but I can't watch it. I had to unfollow her on Instagram because I just was like, nope.
It's so funny because I have the exact same thought as you, and I've talked to people about it, but to me, there's nothing sadder, because the amount of energy that it must take to put a corset on and high heels and fishnet stockings and do your hair and your makeup and sit in front of your phone and have this narcissistic relationship with yourself and present this bizarre image. But she's kind of always been like that. And it's interesting to see as she ages, it just becomes exasperated, right? Like there's something so, what's the word? Belabored about it, like it must be so much like weird energy to put herself in that space, right? To like, I don't get it. Like it's so inauthentic, right? It's just like so thirsty, all those words. And like you said, I've said the same thing. She's such a feminist icon and role model. Imagine like how she could have used this, to I was going to say to transition into this phase in her life and be informative and all this stuff. But it's like she became stagnant, right? She's locked in her 20s or wherever, she's locked in this space in her life. Not to take anything away from her,
No,
but I'm sorry.
It's not
I'm
about
sorry.
that. Yeah.
When she was presenting at the Grammys, and I know we're not supposed to comment on, and her face was visibly like a monster, like it looked like somebody just put another face onto her face, and we're not supposed to talk about that. Like there's such dysmorphia around that. And then she got really sick after. Remember, she got sepsis and had some weird bacterial infection, and all of it was just like, this is happening right in front of us, right? She looks unhealthy. She doesn't look well.
It is. There's a word that I want to own as I go forward, and the word is effortless.
Right. That's grace.
I want my life to be effortless. It's not without its challenges. We have to really look after ourselves as we get older, because that's just the biology of how cells start breaking on down. But, I'm going to see what this head looks like as we go, because I ain't doing nothing. Sometimes I see a double chin from a certain angle and I'm like, oh my God. But then I'm like, oh my God, but Jann, it's fine. You don't have a brain tumor. There's so many things. And I'm just like, I have a friend that I worked with for many, many, many years. And she's been struggling with ovarian cancer that metastasized. And I'm saying that word wrong too, but it's liver, it's intestinal, it's bowels, it's peritoneal, it's in the lining of it's everywhere. And she's been fighting for like 3.5 years. She's my age, she's our age. And what she wouldn't give to see her profile with 3 double chins. Yeah. So I'm always going to find, that grace. And I'm not going to cling to that. I actually stopped doing Botox about 18 months ago. And it wasn't, people are like, why? Because I've been doing it since I was 40. And I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't like how it feels. I just don't like how it makes my face feel. I feel a bit claustrophobic, but if anyone wants to do that, go for it. But I'm just like, that $500, I can probably save a couple horses and a dog. And I don't want to look at that if I do make it to 85, which would be fucking awesome. And go,
You're going to, I can tell.
I could have spent that $30,000 on anything, but and vanities. I'm not saying vanity's not great. I do want to look nice when I go out, but I'm not going to worry about a double chin, and I'm not going to worry about some lines on my forehead. I want to go forward. Justine Bateman is a perfect example of someone that was in the news, in the last year.
I had lunch with her.
Well, she's just like, fuck, I'm not doing this, folks. I'm not doing what you think I should do.
No, she's not. So I went to this luncheon for the lost daughter. So how's this for a table, Jan? Jamie Lee Curtis beside me, who was kind of crotchety, and I made a joke, and then finally she lightened up because she goes to bed at 6:30 at night. But she does. She's like, fucking, I'm out of here. It's 5:30. I'm going to get home and get in my pajamas. Ray Dome was beside me, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Dakota Johnson, Melanie Griffith, and Justine Bateman was across the table from me. And I started talking to her. I didn't know about all this stuff that she's doing in these books and everything. And she's just like, fuck it. I'm unaltered. This is who I am. She took a course in coding. She's brilliant, right? Like, she's a super smart girl. She's very into the AI. She was very involved in the writer's strike. And she said, I am so curious to see where my face goes, where my body goes. I'm not doing anything. And she is so striking and so confident. And I'm not saying anything out of school, but Melanie Griffith beside Justine Bateman, because Melanie has gone very, very extreme. It was just so interesting to see, like, the younger and the, older generation, but she's like, I'm not doing it. And it's authentic. Like, she is completely confident and knows exactly where she's coming from and who she is. I loved it. I thought she was beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing what we think we're supposed to be doing, and then it gets to a point where you're just trying to correct and get back to the bar, and then you forget what the bar was, and you're just like, how did she let her lips get like that? And you're like, well, no, the bar got away from her, the what was normal. So yeah, I'm just gonna see what happens. I'm done with that, and I'm gonna keep getting my teeth cleaned because I love getting my teeth cleaned. And I'm gonna, keep doing my vitamins. I do like an IV thing. This is about the new ageiest thing that I do.
I want to do this.
But menopause, but it's literally magnesium, lots of vitamin B's, tryptophan, which is there's turkey. Well,
tryptophan's from a turkey.
No, it's nothing. There's tryptophan it's found in turkey, but it's not. Yeah, okay. It's not, it's all vegan stuff. There's no animal products going into me. Believe me, my reaction was exactly the same, but you just look it up on the YouTube, eh?
I'm going to go on the YouTube after.
But I do that. And I always feel like, I am vegan, and I'm always conscious of making sure that I'm not super great about getting 80 grams of protein every day. If I get 60, I'm like, woo! But, it's like any kind of eating. You just have to make sure you're giving your body what it needs to go. You don't fill your car up with mayonnaise. It won't go.
That's a really good technical point. God, you're smart.
Anyway, okay. I love you, but I have to get going.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for joining. I just have one more question before you leave. Okay, when you arrive at the pearly gates in heaven, okay, this is a Pris questionnaire. When you arrive there, wherever, and your maker is standing in front of you, what are they going to say to you when you arrive? What would they say to Jann Arden after your life showing up at those gates to get in?
They're going to say, you know what, young lady, you pulled it out of the water. You did good. We were really concerned about you till about 57. And then the lights went on. So come on in. Your dogs are here. They're super excited about seeing you. And you get a complimentary bag of treats to take in. And after that, you'll have to purchase them on your AI app that's implanted in your soul.
Okay, but, so it's detailed. It's detailed.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like you kept trying. So good on you.
Good
But
on
we do
you.
want to, we do want to talk to you about a couple things, but we'll
Yeah.
save that.
We'll save that for later.